Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. And once again, it is one of these weeks that there's not a whole lot to babble about. There's a few releases coming out that I thought would be cool. Stuff I just know the record label like Frontiers is always releasing some cool stuff. I tend to like a lot of the releases they do, and there's a couple other bigger ones here, and this is one of those bigger names. However, I did a review of their last album, and I wasn't super nice. I wasn't mean or anything like that. And a lot of people didn't like that. Some people thought I was right on point. And I kind of decided at that point I wasn't going to do a whole lot of reviews that were just like bashing on albums. And, just because it's not really what did this for. Actually, the whole reason I started this channel was to just recommend music to people that I like old albums that maybe just got didn't get a whole lot of attention I thought should, and I just started doing reviews just on this as a side thing to do, because I thought it was kind of fun to review newer stuff, and that seemed to be what people like the most, so I kept kind of doing it. But they do not like when you talk bad about albums and bad about bands that they like. I have found out, so it wasn't really what my goal was to bash albums or anything like that, so I just kind of stopped just doing it. If I didn't like an album, I just wouldn't do a review on it. I saw this was coming out, and I know I wasn't very nice to the last one, so I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to listen to it because I do like Bush. I really do like Bush. Way back when they first started out, I thought, even when they had haters back then, trying to say they were Nirvana sound-likes and all that stuff, I didn't care. I liked Bush. I was in a band that played a couple of their songs, and I always enjoyed them. They're not every single song. I mean, my favorite bands in the world, I don't enjoy every single song, so that just happens, but honestly, I haven't even gone back and listened to their last album. I didn't really enjoy it that much. I didn't go back and listen to it. I went into this one with fresh ears, however, and I have to say, I was really getting into this album. It started out really strong. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't read the reviews on it. Didn't even know they were coming out with an album, quite honestly, until about last week, and I saw it, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it another shot. Opening song, Scars, killer. It's the kind of stuff I want to hear from Bush. I want to hear this type of music. I know I made the comment on the last one, and I still feel this way a little bit, and it's not meant to be like a derogatory thing at all towards Gavin Rossdale. It's just his voice has changed over the years. It's just gotten deeper. It just happens with age. He sings a lot, so that's going to happen. Over time, your voice is going to change, especially when you do a lot of physical stuff with it. Hence singing in a band. Some people took that as I was saying bad things. No, his voice is just deeper. It just is. And he doesn't go for the super, and not that he ever really sang high notes, but he doesn't strain it quite as much as he used to. And I made the comment, I remember making the comment that he's off key a little bit. I think there's certain singers that get away with that adds to their that's the sound of that's their style, that's their thing. It's like Bruce Dickinson comes to mind. He's off key a lot, but it's going to happen, and it doesn't seem to matter. He just freaking goes for it, and that's just the way it is. It's one thing I actually kind of liked about the earlier Bush stuff. On this stuff, it doesn't happen, but I think that happens more doesn't happen more because of stuff like auto-tune. There's a lot of vocal processing going on and newer production styles going on in music nowadays, and this album has a lot of that. There's a lot of vocal production, there's a lot of production overall, there's a lot more electronic stuff in this, and I noticed that right from the start. The first few songs here tend to follow that same pattern, like I Beat Loneliness starts out with killer riff, by the way, and this has this electronic thing going on in the verses, and then it builds up for the choruses. A lot of bands have chosen to follow that style. This is kind of like what Bush did earlier on in their career, but they're trying some new stuff, and I let them slide for that because I like it when bands try new stuff, and it actually works very well. I have to say, the Land of Milk and Honey is probably one of the best songs I've heard from them in a really long time. I really like that one. We're All the Same on the Inside, same type of thing. I'm Here to Save Your Life. I actually don't remember that one too much, but I think that was actually fell into the same musical style. There's a whole lot of consistency here. The songs are good. And I think I was actually starting to get a little bit like, okay, it's the same thing. It's a little bit more, I don't know, just kind of like, all right, let's try something. Let's hear something new at this point. And that's exactly what happened with 60 Ways to Forget People. The way that one kicks in, it's got a different drum beat than I've heard them ever experiment with, and the choruses on this one I think was meant for like big stadium arena type feel, which is something a little bit different for them as well. I thought that was cool. The only thing I have to say about that one is it's too short. That song was way too short. However, this is where the album like takes an abrupt change. Love Me Till the Pain Fades starts to get a little bit more mellow. Not super mellow at this point, but that's when it starts to taper down a little bit. And then it hits We're of This Earth and Everyone Is Broken, and cool songs, I have to admit. Like the singing on it was actually really well, but both very, I guess you'd call We're of This Earth a ballad, I don't know. And Everyone's Broken, I was not expected to be in that same feel. Like it didn't change at all. Like it just kind of like stayed there. However, like I said earlier, both really good songs on their own, but two in a row, I was like, oh, hopefully this does something here. Slightly did for Don't Be Afraid. Got up to make a mid-tempo type feel, but then right back down again. The last two songs, Footsteps in the Sand, Rebel Without a Cause, just kind of like just that slow prodding thing that they do, which is fine. I like the songs. I like when Bush does that. However, there was just a whole lot of that all together, all at once. There's 12 songs on here, and like 4 of them are really just like with just Don't Be Afraid of mid-tempo one in the middle. They're just kind of breaking it up a little bit. There's just a lot of just slowness going on. I don't know how else to say it. So like it's really strange. It's almost like 2 separate albums. The first 6 songs, just cool kind of Bush I wanted to hear, cool riffs. Even though the singing isn't quite as aggressive as what he used to do, still liked it, still enjoyed it. And I actually enjoyed the songs on the second half of the album. Just all of them together, just in a row. I was ready for it to be over. Honestly, at that point, it was just like, okay, that just was like like I don't know how to explain it. Like you got all those fuel going and you're pumping it, and then the car is just kind of like running out of gas, and you're just kind of coasting along until finally the car just finally stops. That's the only way I can think to describe how this album went. Each song on there wasn't anything that was like horribly bad. There wasn't anything that I wouldn't listen to. In fact, like I said, I mean, the songs are actually like Land of Milk and Honey is like one of the best things I've heard them do. Actually, Everyone Is Bright. No, everybody's like did read a couple things here right before doing this that We Are of This Earth was supposed to be like considered the ballad on this one, but I think Everyone Is Broken is actually a better song. It just came right after We Are of This Earth, and I was already like in a very slow pace at that point. Anyway, even it ended with a good song. Rebel with a Cause was actually a really good song. I don't think there needed to be that many the slow songs. Even if you broke it up, it would still be like up and down and up and down and up and down. I don't know. This is my all this ever is just opinion. My opinion might have been a better album if they had changed up the pace a little bit, or maybe not had as many of the slower songs on there. Each song individually was fine. They're all good songs, but that's just my little take on it. So I don't know how else to explain this one. Enjoyed it. I probably would never sit down and listen to this as a whole album ever again, but any one of the songs on here, if they ever came on, I would actually enjoy listening to them. So maybe make up a playlist or something of a bunch of choices of these songs, maybe different, the moody ones on one and the upbeat ones on another, or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, feel free to leave your comments on this one. This is actually, and I'm not trying to make up and be nice, like fake on this one. This is what I really think of this album. It was good, but like I said, the little nitpicky stuff about it there. So feel free to share your opinions. That's all this is, even if it's completely different than mine. This was a different style of anything I've heard from them, and I think it worked mainly, just except for the amount of slower songs on it. So anyway, like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because I really like to hear what they keep doing with this stuff. They keep expanding their you know, style, and I just think it's cool when bands do that, and it did work. Just I don't know, just maybe change it up a little bit as far as the pace of the songs goes. That's about it. But until then, I guess we'll see you.